On a cold October morning in Manchester, Emma Wilson watched out the kitchen window as the rain streamed down the glass. She had prepared breakfast for David, her husband of 15 years, and was eager to discuss plans for a possible weekend getaway. It was something Emma had been trying to do for months, hoping to reignite what she felt was fading between them. David came downstairs without even looking at her. He grabbed a slice of toast, took a quick sip of coffee, and murmured, "I'll be working late tonight. Don't wait for me for dinner." Emma tried to hide her disappointment. "Can we talk later? Maybe think about that trip to the Lake District we mentioned?" David sighed, visibly annoyed. "I don't know, Emma. I have a lot on my mind right now." As he walked out the door, Emma felt that familiar weight in her chest. It wasn't just the emotional distance between them that worried her, but the small gestures of indifference that piled up day after day. Later, while looking for something in David's office, Emma found something that froze her heart: a hotel receipt. The date matched one of the many nights he had claimed to be working late. Her heart raced. Trying to stay calm, she waited until David came home that night. When he walked in, tired and visibly irritated, Emma held up the receipt and placed it on the table. "Want to explain this?" David looked at the paper, sighed, and shook his head. "Emma, let's not pretend you don't know what's going on." She felt the ground disappear beneath her. "What are you saying?" "Yes, I'm having an affair," he said bluntly. "But to be honest, Emma, you let this happen. Look at yourself. You're not the woman I married." Emma choked on her words. The blow of the betrayal was devastating, but hearing those cruel words felt like a knife twisting in her heart. "You've destroyed me," she whispered, tears in her eyes. David just shrugged. "Maybe it's time for us to go our separate ways." He left that same night, leaving Emma in pieces in the middle of the living room. In the following days, Emma went into a state of numbness. She avoided leaving the house, faced daily challenges like a robot, and looked at herself in the mirror with a mix of self-loathing and sadness. Was he right? Am I the problem? But deep down, a small voice began to rise, a voice telling her she deserved more. Much more. The days of numbness turned into weeks, and Emma felt like she was drifting. The house, once full of memories of happy times with David, now felt like an oppressive space. His cruel words, etched in her mind, echoed constantly. Then, on a rainy November morning, Emma made a decision. She picked up the phone and called Sophie, her closest friend since school. Sophie was a successful lawyer who had always supported her, even when Emma distanced herself. "Sophie, I need help," Emma said, her voice choking. "Finally," Sophie exclaimed from the other end of the line. "I've been waiting for you to call me for weeks. Get ready. I'm coming over now." Soon after, Sophie arrived with a determined smile and a tight hug. Without giving Emma a chance to protest, Sophie dragged her to a cozy cafe in central Manchester. "All right," Sophie began, stirring her tea. "He was an idiot. A complete idiot. But you, Emma Wilson, are so much more than what he tried to make you believe." "I don't feel that way," Emma replied, looking at her hands. Sophie took her hand and squeezed it. "Then let's start changing that. Not for him, not for revenge, but for you." In the following days, Sophie helped Emma reorganize her life. They cleaned the house, removing traces of David, like old photos and objects that brought painful memories. But it was when Sophie suggested something unexpected that Emma really hesitated. "I signed you up for a gym nearby," Sophie said casually, as they drank tea in Emma's living room. Emma's eyes widened. "Sophie, you know this isn't for me." "I was never—" "Emma," Sophie gently interrupted, "it's not about losing weight. It's about feeling strong. If you hate it, I'll stop pushing. But try just for a few weeks." Reluctantly, Emma agreed. On the first morning of training, Emma arrived at the gym feeling completely out of place. The receptionist directed her to a beginner's Pilates class, and she entered the room with her heart racing. The instructor, Lily, was a vibrant and welcoming young woman who immediately made Emma feel comfortable. "Don't worry if you can't do everything today. The important thing is to start," Lily said with an encouraging smile. The first sessions were tough, but Emma began to notice something. Each stretch, Each controlled breath seemed to ease a little of the emotional pain. It was as if she was rebuilding her strength, not just physically but mentally. Little by little, Emma began to create a routine for herself. She started going for walks in the parks of Manchester, where the fresh air helped clear her mind. She began experimenting with new recipes, prioritizing foods that made her feel energized. One afternoon, while walking through Heaton Park, Emma realized something. For the first time in months, she wasn't thinking about David or his cruel words. She was just enjoying the moment. The cold wind on her face, the sound of dry leaves underfoot, the smell of damp grass. That was when she encountered someone unexpected. As Emma bent down to tie her shoe, a large, energetic dog ran toward her, nearly knocking her over. "Rufus!"
"No,"
shouted a man with a strong London accent, running after the dog. Emma, laughing for the first time in weeks, petted the dog as the owner approached. "He's adorable but a bit mischievous, isn't he?" Emma said, looking at the man. "A generous euphemism," he replied, smiling. "I'm Adam Bennett. And this furry hurricane is Rufus." Emma shook his hand, still smiling. "Emma Wilson." It was a simple exchange, but something about that encounter left Emma with a feeling she hadn't had in a long time. Hope. Emma didn't think much about the casual encounter with Adam Bennett, but to her surprise, he seemed to show up at the most unexpected moments. The following weekend, while shopping at the local market, she heard a familiar voice. "Emma Wilson, is that you?" Turning around, she saw Adam standing with Rufus sitting obediently by his side. "Adam. What a coincidence," she replied, trying to hide her surprise. "Manchester is smaller than it seems," he joked. "Rufus and I have a peculiar taste for markets with good food." They exchanged a few casual words, and Emma realized that Adam was more than just friendly. He had a light and genuine way of conversing. Before they parted ways, he pointed to her bag. "I see you like to cook. Got any special dishes?" "Nothing too complicated. Just something I learned recently. Cooking has been therapeutic. Maybe Rufus and I can volunteer to taste test one day," he said, laughing. Emma smiled, shyly. Who knows? In the following days, Emma returned to her routine, but she couldn't stop thinking about Adam. He seemed so different from David, warm, genuine, and, above all, unpretentious. Yet, Emma still felt the weight of the past. One winter night, while organizing papers in her room, she found an old photo of her and David. She hesitated, but instead of putting it away, she threw it out. It was a simple gesture, but a meaningful one. She was ready to leave the past behind. The following weekend, Emma went to Heaton Park again, her new favorite route for walks. As she neared the lake, she saw Adam sitting on a bench with Rufus lying at his feet. He looked up and smiled when he saw her. "I think we're destined to run into each other here," he said as she approached. "Or maybe it's Rufus who has a good nose for company," Emma joked, petting the dog. They began walking together, and Emma realized that she felt strangely at ease. Adam talked about his life in London before moving to Manchester. He worked as an architect, but always made time for his hobbies, especially photography and walking. "And you, Emma?" he asked. "What brought you to these solitary walks?" Emma hesitated, but decided to be honest. "I think I'm rediscovering who I am. I spent a lot of time living for someone else and got lost in the process." Adam nodded without judging her. "It sounds like you're on the right path." There was a comfortable silence between them, broken only by the sound of Rufus running after dry leaves. "You're a strong woman, Emma."
"I can see that."
"And if I may say, you're also great company." Emma smiled, feeling her heart warm. There was something invigorating about being near someone who saw her without judgment or expectations. Later that night, Emma told Sophie about the encounter. "He seems like an amazing man," Sophie said, excited. "And you deserve someone like that." "I'm not sure I'm ready for that, Sophie," Emma admitted. "I'm just starting to feel comfortable with myself." "And that's okay," Sophie said, holding her hand. "Just let things happen at your own pace." The following week, Adam surprised Emma by sending a message. "Hey, Rufus and I are exploring a new park this Saturday. It would be great to have you join us. What do you think?" Emma hesitated before replying, but in the end, she accepted. She didn't know where it could lead, but for the first time in a long time, she felt ready to explore new possibilities. Saturday arrived with a blue sky and fresh air. Emma met Adam and Rufus at Alexander Park, one of the most beautiful spots in Manchester. Adam smiled when he saw her, and Rufus ran up to her, wagging his tail with enthusiasm. "He seems to like you more than me," Adam joked, as he put the leash on the dog. "Who can blame him?" Emma replied, laughing for the first time in a long time. They walked calmly along the trails, talking about everything and nothing at the same time. Emma began to realize how much she enjoyed Adam's company. He was light, but not superficial. He listened to her stories attentively and asked questions that showed genuine interest. When they sat on a bench overlooking a flower garden, Adam looked at her, hesitant. "Emma, I know we barely know each other, but I enjoy being with you. I know you might not be ready for something more, and that's completely understandable, but I wanted you to know." Emma felt her heart race. It wasn't just what Adam was saying, but how he was saying it, without pressure, without expectations, just honesty. "Adam, she started hesitating. "You're amazing, and I enjoy being with you too. But you're still healing," he finished softly. Emma nodded, feeling a mix of relief and guilt.
Yes.
"But thank you for understanding." Adam smiled. "When you're ready, if you are, I'll be here." That conversation marked something important for Emma. She realized that, for the first time in a long time, someone was seeing her as she was, not as she should be. But at the same time, she knew she needed to continue her journey of rebuilding herself before fully opening her heart. Inspired by Adam and Sophie's words, Emma dove even deeper into her hobbies and new projects. She started attending cooking workshops in Manchester and even entered a local contest with her caramel apple pie recipe, which was a success. During the event, Emma found herself looking around, realizing how much she had changed. She was no longer the woman who hid in the shadows of a failed relationship. She was becoming someone she was proud of. One evening, while she was at home, Sophie called, excited. "You won't believe this," Sophie began. "Remember the pie you made at the event? One of the judges owns a bakery downtown, and he wants to put your recipe on the menu." "What?" Emma responded, incredulous. "Are you serious?" "Absolutely. He said he's never tasted anything like it." "Emma, this is huge." The news was a shock to Emma, but also a moment of validation. She finally felt that her life was heading in a direction that made sense, a direction that was hers. In the following days, Emma shared the good news with Adam. He was visibly excited, as if her success was also a reason for him to celebrate. "I'm not surprised," he said, with a warm smile. "You're talented, Emma. The world is starting to notice." Emma felt Adam's words warm her heart. Each day with him seemed more natural, more comforting. One day, while they were walking again in Heaton Park, Adam asked an unexpected question. "Emma, do you believe in second chances?" She stopped for a moment, looking at him. "I think I'm starting to believe." Adam smiled, and they continued walking side by side, without saying another word. Sometimes, the silence between them spoke louder than any words could. Emma began to live a transformative routine. Her caramel apple pie became one of the best-selling items at the bakery that had accepted her recipe. Soon, she received an offer to create more exclusive recipes, something she had never imagined possible just months earlier. One afternoon, while experimenting with combinations for a new dish, she received a message from Adam. "Congratulations on the success at the bakery. I knew you would do something amazing. How about celebrating with a dinner? My place Friday?" Rufus is already excited. Emma laughed as she read it, feeling her heart warm. "I accept." Rufus is hard to resist. On Friday, Emma arrived at Adam's house with a bottle of wine and a nervousness she hadn't felt in years. He greeted her with a wide smile, wearing an apron stained with sauce. "Come in, Chef Emma," he joked, holding the door open. "I hope my kitchen skills are up to par with someone as talented as you." Emma laughed as she entered the cozy house, full of details that reflected Adam's personality. Architecture books, framed photographs, and an improvised bed for Rufus next to the couch made the space feel welcoming and authentic. The dinner was simple but delicious, a mushroom risotto paired with a wine Emma had brought. The conversation flowed naturally, with laughs and stories shared. "Emma, did you know you've changed?" Adam said suddenly, as he poured more wine into her glass. "Changed?" she asked, curious.
Yes.
"When we first met, you seemed to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders.
Now you shine."
You can see the pride you feel in everything you do." Emma fell silent for a moment, feeling his words sink deep. "I think for the first time, I'm proud of who I'm becoming."
And you should be.
"You deserve all of this, Emma." Emma's eyes sparkled, and she realized how safe she felt next to Adam. There was something different about him, a respect, a kindness she had never experienced before. In the following days, Emma found herself reflecting on her journey. She was learning to value her strength and accomplishments, but she also realized she was opening up to something more. Adam wasn't just a friend. He was becoming an essential part of her life. One morning, while they were walking through Heaton Park, Adam did something unexpected. "Emma, can I show you something?" He led her to a small hidden garden, where wildflowers grew freely. "I discovered this place when I moved to Manchester," he said, looking around. "I always come here to think. And now, I wanted to share it with you." Emma looked at him, moved. There was something so pure in that moment that she felt her barrier break. "Adam, I need to say something," she began, nervous. "You've been a light in my life. I didn't think it was possible to feel this way again, but you've shown me that it is." Adam held her hand, looking directly into her eyes. "Emma, all I want is for you to know that you deserve to be happy. And if I can be part of that, I'll be the luckiest man in the world." Without saying another word, Emma stepped forward and hugged him. For the first time, she felt ready to open her heart, not because she needed someone to heal her, but because she was whole enough to share her life. The relationship between Emma and Adam blossomed naturally, without haste or pressure. The ease that Adam brought to her life was something Emma had never experienced before. He didn't try to fix her or complete her. He was simply there, by her side, as a companion who saw her exactly as she was. At the same time, Emma's bakery, now named Essence of Apple, grew in extraordinary ways. With the support of the local bakery and Sophie's help, Emma was able to expand the business to include her own space, a small cafe in the heart of Manchester. On the opening day, the cafe was filled with friends, family, and new customers. Sophie, with a proud smile, made a toast to Emma, who showed us that new beginnings can be sweet. Her words brought applause and tears from the crowd, but no gaze was as meaningful as Adam's. He walked up to her, holding her hand as she received the congratulations. "I'm so proud of you," he said softly. Emma smiled, her heart light. "And I'm so grateful to have you by my side." The following months brought more success for Emma, but also simple moments of pure happiness. Walks with Adam and Rufus, quiet dinners, and nights on the couch watching movies created a life she never thought she would have. On a spring afternoon, while walking through Heaton Park, Adam suggested they go to the wildflower garden. When they arrived, Emma noticed something was different. Among the flowers, there was a small table with a picnic basket and 2 glasses of wine. "Adam?" she asked, laughing but clearly confused. He took her hand, his eyes shining. "Emma, when we met, you were beginning to rediscover who you were. I've had the privilege of witnessing that transformation, of seeing you become the incredible woman you've always been." Emma felt her eyes well up, her heart racing. "You've taught me what true love means, a love that doesn't demand, but celebrates. And I want to spend every day celebrating you, by your side." Adam knelt down, taking a small box from his pocket. "Emma Wilson, will you marry me?" Tears streamed down Emma's face as she shook her head, unable to contain her happiness. "Yes, Adam. Of course, yes." The wedding was intimate, held in the small wildflower garden that now held a special meaning for both of them. Rufus, with a bow around his neck, stole the show as the ring bearer. Sophie stood beside Emma as her maid of honor, and the essence of apple cafe provided the sweets for the reception. Emma, in a simple yet elegant dress, looked at Adam during the vows. "You've shown me that true love doesn't fix our flaws, but makes us feel that we are perfect just as we are. Thank you for loving me, Adam, and for teaching me to love myself too." Adam responded with a teary smile. "And you've shown me that new beginnings are always possible. I'm the luckiest man in the world to share my life with you." Emma now looked to the future with confidence and joy. Her past, full of pain, was behind her. By Adam's side, she had built a life based on respect, affection, and authenticity. As they danced under the lights of the garden, Emma realized something that had long seemed impossible. She was truly happy. Not because she found a man who valued her, but because she had finally learned to value herself. And that was what made their love so true. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and share the video. See you in the next story.